If you're not profitable yet, maybe you don't have a specific system that you follow every single day. And today I'm gonna help you come up with a system so you can follow it every single day. So hopefully you can actually become a better trader or profitable or gain more confidence when you are trading the market. So the first thing you need, right, when you are looking at the market before you trade, you have to understand the context, right? Context is king. So what is context? Well, let me ask you a question. If I say, hey, should you go and punch a random guy in the face? And I hope you say no, I don't think nobody should just go up and punch a random person in the face, right? Well, what if I say, what if that random person came to you first, started picking on you, and then attack you? And all you're trying to do is defend yourself, and then you decide to punch him in his face. Now, if I gave you those details, would your answer change? And I'm quite sure it would change. You would say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, if I had to defend myself, yeah, most likely I would punch a stranger in his face, right? So that's what we are doing when it comes to context, right? It depends on the situation. Same thing with trading. So good example would be, let's go to the chart. If the market is trending up, right? And basically I say, is it a good place to buy right here? And your answer would probably be yes. We want to go long because the market is trending up, okay? So you want to be a buyer. Now, what if I say, well, it's a resistance right here. Now, is it a good time to go long? Again, your answer might change. You're like, nah, I don't think so now because, resistance right here, sellers might come in and we might get stopped out. So that's what context is all about. It depends on the situation. And that's what we're doing every single day. We're looking at the context. We're looking at what's the market doing right now. Why do we want to be a buyer and why do we want to be a seller? Okay. Now, one of the best ways to look at the context, right, looking at the structure, is looking at the bigger picture. So you can look at the daily chart. So let's go to the daily chart real quick. All right. So the daily chart, here's the daily chart on the NASDAQ, right? And overall, the way I would look at the daily chart is, okay, the market is bullish. Yes, the market is bullish. Look at this. It's holding these, this trend line as the market is bullish. It's just going up. Okay, fine. So we know the direction. Now, the next step is to plot levels. Okay, so the reason why we want to plot levels is because, we want to look for a specific area on the chart where potential buyers or sellers might come in the market. And hopefully, if we participate or if they participate around those areas, we can actually make profits. So I would look at, the major swing highs and lows on the daily chart. So we can, mark down right here, okay? Mark down this swing low. We can mark down swing highs if it comes, above the swing high. And, maybe we can get a buy over here. We can even sometimes do a demand level on the, daily chart. I don't like doing it because overall, the demand levels are so big on the daily chart. Let me go to the 5-minute chart to show you what I mean. So right here, right, this is the demand on the daily chart. Look how big this is, okay? If we're day trading, we don't know if the market will react to the top of the daily zone or the middle or the bottom of it or even right here. So it's like it's so much space right here. So this example though, if you look at this, look how the market reacts to this demand zone. Now this is a picture perfect scenario where we will want every single time it hits a big zone like this, but I'm telling you right now it doesn't work like this. Okay, but this is a great example of having the market react to this zone, going to the lower time frame. This is the 5-minute chart, and actually it's creating a lot of buying, and then it's creating a demand level on the 5-minute chart, and we want to attack. Okay, so the first thing is we want to look at the direction. If we can look at the direction on the higher time frame. Next thing, we want to plot our levels, and then from there we want to go on a lower time frame to get in. Okay, so how do we want to get in? Well, we can get in a simple, maybe if the market has a trend line, we get on a trend line break. Okay, so the market breaks the trend line, or we can look for a strong candle or some type of double reaction, maybe a double bottom, whatever. Okay, I'm just keeping it simple. And also you can look for volume coming in the market, but we're going to keep it simple right here. So right here, we do have a nice solid green candle right here, or we have a trend line break to the upside. Now, let's go back to the daily chart. Okay, so the thing with the daily chart is it doesn't provide enough levels every single day for me to attack. okay? So right here, I just marked maybe one level right here, another level right here. So this is 3 levels, but from here to here, that's like, almost 2 months. So we only get what, 1, 2, 3, 4 opportunities within 2 months. That's not a lot. So that's why we might have to go to a lower time frame. But let's look at this daily level right here. Okay, let's go to the 5-minute chart and let's go to that daily level right here. Where's that daily level? It's right here. So how will we enter this level? Well, basically, it reacted right here and then it shot up. It definitely created a demand level right here, right? But to me, this would be a nice little entry right here. Or let's say that it came back over here. We didn't really get a good entry right here, but guess what? What do we see? A nice little trend line break, okay? And we can get in right here at that trend line break, and we're looking for, rewards. Now, how long or what is the best target, right, when it comes to getting in the market? Well, you can do fixed rewards like a 1 to 2, meaning 2 times your money, or you can look for previous levels or levels in the market where it can go to. So right here, what do we have? What level do we have right here? We have a resistance level right here. So we can say, you know what? I want to target this level. Here's the thing, okay? Sometimes it will never go to that level. Okay, you can say, yeah, I want to target that level, but guess what? The market doesn't care what you think. Okay, so we could say, you know what? Maybe we could take off half right here or some off right here and then let the rest ride. Or you can say, you know what? Let me back test to see in general or on average how much the market moves. Okay, so let's say on average the market moves 70% 2 to 1. Okay, so maybe you say, you know what, I'm just going to look for a 2 to 1 every single time. I don't got time for this because sometimes it will go up and then come right back to my break even stop. So it all depends on you. It depends on your style. Depends on what you want, and it depends on how you back test the market. Now, when we go to the daily chart doesn't provide a lot of levels. So how do we get levels every single day? Well, you can go to, let's say, the 1 hour chart, right? So the 1 hour chart, you can get levels that the market has. You can go on the 1 hour chart and just mark down these swing highs, these swing lows, right? On the 1 hour chart. Even you can mark down, maybe some supply and demand levels on the 1 hour, and go from there. So you can use the 1 hour for levels too, right? But I'm going to tell you what I do. Okay, what I like to do is I just like to strictly go to the 5-minute chart. So let's go to the 5-minute chart. All right, so here's the 5-minute chart. And this is what I like to do. I like to look at the 5-minute levels because the 5-minute chart, what I've noticed is that the 5-minute chart, the direction of the 5-minute chart is usually good enough to make profits for the day. Okay, so we don't really need the big macro, direction, because if you're looking at the 5-minute chart, the 5-minute chart could give you direction, and not only give you direction, it could also give you levels to look at every single day. So let's say market's going up right here. We can look at potential levels where the market come here on the 5-minute chart, and we can get in, participate to go up. So here's a good example of where the market break this triangle right here, and it's just trending up. So what do we have right here? We have nice demand level right here. Okay, so if it comes back to this level right here, we can participate. And this is just strictly 5-minute levels because now we know the direction, right? And we're just looking at the 5-minute levels, and boom, we're looking to get in again. How much profit do you want from the market? For me, based on my back testing, a good sweet spot is a 1 to 2. But there are days where, man, this thing can go 1 to 3, 4, and so on. Okay. So if you're trading a 5-minute chart, a good sweet spot is 1 to 2, but there are days where you can hold much longer. And those days are usually reversal days, and sometimes printing days where you can hold much longer. So let me show you guys another example of just using the 5-minute chart. So here's the next day where the market is consolidating, and then all of a sudden it breaks out right here, and then it comes back to this level, and all of a sudden we have the market reacting to this level right here. Then again, we can get in with a candlestick. So we have sellers coming in right here. We can get in right here. So we have a lot of selling right here. And you can also put your stop loss either above a swing low, swing high, or above the candle, right? And you can look for your fix maybe 1 to 2 Or again, if you feel like this is a trending market, you can look for more. And we can target, again, we can target, potential levels where we have support around here. So we have support around here, so we can target these levels right here for potential target profits. Or we can get in a trend line break. We have a nice trend line break right here. Okay, so if you see that nice trend line break, boom, get in the market and get in, right? Again, we want to try to keep things as simple as possible, because I'm telling you right now, look online. You want to see people literally try to complicate trading. They're going to try to make it like they are, I don't know. It's just like they change the language when it comes to trading, and they try to make it, I guess they're trying to make themselves sound smart. So they use big words. They reword a lot of things that's, been going on. Like, for example, a lot of people, I remember this guy was like, man, you still use support and resistance? That's basic. And I'm just shaking my head like, man, he has no idea. Like, support and resistance and these other terms like liquidity, sweep, is literally the same thing, right? I can show you so many examples of me taking a resistance trade or a support trade, but you would call it a liquidity sweep. So me personally, I just try to keep it as simple as possible and go from there. So let's go to the next day right here. And right here, what we have the market trending down on the 5-minute chart. So the 5-minute direction is down. We have a trend line break. And then also we have a nice little level right here, okay, which is a supply level. And then we have nice double reaction, okay? So we have a nice bear bar. And we can just get in when we see a lot of selling going in. Again, we can put our stop loss above. It's always, if you want to be safe, it's always great to put your stop loss above some type of structure. Okay, but if you want to keep it tight, you can keep it tight. You could put it, above candle or whatever. And then, look for, again, a fixed target, or you could look for, maybe you could look to the left to target maybe a support level, like right here. Okay, that could be one of your targets and so on, right? So again, get in like that, or you get in with a trend line, okay? Trend line break, whatever. Let me go to another example right here. So right here, the market just shot up, the 5-minute level. What do we see? Basically, this is where the market opened, it shot up. So we have this level right here, and it reacts to this level, right? It gives you a double test too. So you can get in with, after you see this double test, or you can just get in, right, when we see a lot of buying going on, okay? So this one right here, I remember getting in with this one on a 1-minute chart, which is a quick scalp to the upside, okay? But this one, when you see the buying coming in, you can look in, get in, okay? We'll hit that level, and you can go for that quick scalp. One thing you can do is, let's say it goes to a 1-to-1 and doesn't go to a 2-to-1. You could go to break even, or you can say, you know what, I'm gonna hold. If it doesn't go to my TP, I'm still hold. And sometimes you might get stopped out, sometimes you won't. Okay, so you have the back test and figure out what works for you and go on. So that is how I'm looking at the market every single day, guys. There are so many ways to look at the market. I'm telling you right now, guys, do not let people confuse you. Do not let somebody say, oh, my way is the best way. There are so many different ways to look at the market. The only thing I can tell you is try to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so let me just show you one more example. Here's a ranging market right here, where the market is ranging and it's not doing anything. It's just going up and down, up and down. So the way you attack this market is you can, short the tops and buy the bottoms. Okay. So let me show you a couple of quick trades that I took, and we're going to go from here. All right. So here's a day where the market was going up, right? And if you look to the left, we have what? This resistance. Now, the market went up pre-market, hit this resistance, because remember, we have a lot of selling going on right here, okay? So when it comes back to the areas, it's the possibility that it won't break, above it, because we have sellers around here. So pre-market, we had a hard time going above this area right here, and then we broke this right here, this key level right here, and then that's when I participate, because we had this level, and then also we have the swing high right here. So I went short right here. Okay, I didn't record this trade, but let me show you guys the broker statement. Basically, this was a nice 2-to-1 right here, and I made 4,300 on this trade right here. Okay, so let me show you another trade. Okay, so here's another trade. This is the 5-minute chart. Just again, strictly using the 5-minute chart, and that's it. So the market went up. We broke, this level right here, and we were just trending up. Okay, so the market trended up, came back. I really wanted this demand level right here. and we didn't really pull back all the way to this level right here, but I used this swing low right here to get in, okay? Because again, these swing lows are levels on the 5-minute chart to get in. So I saw the swing level. I saw that we have this bullish bar coming in, basically also drawing a trend line. So the like we're going to break this trend line. So I'm in this market. Let me show you guys this quick recording. So right here, you see that I'm in the market, and basically the market is going up, and I'm just looking for my profits. So overall, everything's looking good. It doesn't look like it's going to go down. So I'm not really worried about this trade. So let me fast forward this. All right. So everything's looking good. It's going to my TP. I'm just going for the high. That's it. I'm not trying to go for, nothing crazy. Just going for the high. And once it gets to the high, I'm getting out. So let me fast forward this. All right. So you see me out the market, and I'm up 2,600 for that day. Okay. So that's me. Only look at the 5-minute chart. Only look at the 5-minute levels. And again, what is key is context. Okay. You have to understand the context. Once you understand the context, I believe your confidence will go up. And I also believe that, you can definitely see the market much clearer now. You're not going to be 100%. Nothing's never 100%. But at least you're going to have more confidence, and at least you can, attack the market much better and much clearer. So that's pretty much it. Back test a lot, work on your emotions, right? Study, 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 so you can get this down pat. And I hope you enjoy this. Until next time, you know what to do. Talk to you guys later.